We returned to an old dock north of West Point, where we pierced the river's veil for fresh fish. Tonight would be our last evening on this side of town, and when the sun loomed across the water's expanse, we would set out on a journey for the other side of town. There's a large automotive shop isolated on the southern border, where we hope to pick up some repair materials for our bike. We could only hope that it hasn't been fully looted already. We feasted there in our mini paradise rest stop, and helped ourselves to the best fillets among the pile. We'd leave the leftovers inside the grill for any who may come after us. Then we'd utilize the old taps inside the house to refill our water reserves before finally setting off on our adventure. The trail we'd tread would lead us directly through the heart of West Point. This main road was guaranteed to be dangerous, but it was the fastest way to where we wanted to be. In preparation for when the world becomes extra crowded, we'll take a moment to limber up with a quick skirmish on the more barren outskirts of town to make sure we were completely ready for whatever the new day wanted to throw at us. We didn't know what awaited us, but one mistake while in town would cost us everything. Our heart raced faster as the sound of our engine drowned out the groans of the ever-increasing walls of death. We'd carefully weave our bike like a needle through the sea of misfits, while the city of West Point began to push over the horizon. The remnants of the deceased carried on mindlessly, until the roar of our thunder awakened their hunger abruptly. We could only grip our handles and grit our teeth as we snaked our way through this overpopulated concrete river. Our feeling of claustrophobia began to constrict us as we pushed through these narrow streets, forced to make split-second decisions about where to turn next. Every feeling of relief was met with an overabundance of panic as we met each obstacle in rapid succession. How long would it be until we made the wrong choice? We barreled out the backside of the horde ball, completely unharmed. It'd be a bit more till we remembered to breathe. We were unsure of the condition of our poor bike after so many collisions. It wasn't long after that we'd find ourselves crossing the old train tracks, a sign that we had made it through the worst of it. Here at the end of the road we thought it'd be easy pickings, but found it swarming just as badly as the city. We pulled in and hopped off our bike as our spectators rushed in to greet us. With so many adoring fans in every direction, we had no choice but to yell at the top of our lungs. Like the Pied Pipers, we sang our song loudly and pulled the unruly crowd together. Behind us, the enveloping sound of their stampede applauded our efforts to ditch them all in the woods. When we returned to the shop, we found it still overwhelmed by the rest of the horde, their numbers seemingly as endless as the stars in our night sky. We needed to hurry up and figure out what we were going to do. We needed to both create a safe place to stay that night and clear our way into our objective. We would repeat our ditch 'em in the woods plan 3 times before finally pulling out the gun to make as much noise as possible. Bang! 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 We led them all the way down the road till we came to another railroad crossing. There we would ditch the whole group and make our way back. We beelined it through the parking lots, but found our path to be overcrowded. Without much time to think, we threw ourselves over the fence and tucked ourselves into the darkness of the woods and didn't look back. Into the heart of darkness we rushed ahead, the howling winds carrying the guttural growls from all around us. We raced through the thick depths of the forest, leaving behind a trail of broken branches and twisted twigs. Around every tree's shadow lurked a dense feeling of dread that had our heart pounding faster than ever. We raced along the fence line, the adrenaline of our situation controlling the actions we were taking. And when there was no more clearing to run down, we penetrated back into the thicket of the forest. Our only concern as we pushed by tree and fiend was finding our way out of this dark green hell. Time itself seemed to have slowed down. The endless expanse of purgatory shifted out beyond our horizons. Past every wall of shadow lay another layer of hell disguised as a life-bringing tree. Be it claw or limb, we slowly lost our ability to distinguish what was reaching out for us. And then, faster than it all began, the cursed woods burst open to a familiar road. The hanging sun blasted away the shadows that constricted our hearts, but the endless presence of the hordes made it seem all of our efforts were for naught. Parched from our journey through the woods, we stopped at our bag to grab our water bottle and rehydrate. It was there we saw a glimmer of hope. For a brief few moments, we were almost alone. We popped pills to control our mind and battle the panic trying to set in, all while shepherding the hordes into more convenient places. We'd kill off stragglers every chance we got, hoping to make even the slightest difference in their population. When we'd finally pulled enough away, we'd make a break for it and do a quick check of the automotive shop. The shelves still contained a decent supply of merchandise, books and baubles we may need for our adventure, so we pressed on, exhausted from a day of riding, running, and roughing it on the city side, but we needed to find a place to catch our breath. We were finally reaching our limits and made a hasty decision to seek shelter. We climbed atop the old train car used as a welcome sign and sat ourselves there, happy to finally have a place to rest without worry. We'd unfortunately led a pretty sizable horde right to our location, trapping us up here for the foreseeable future. We could only sit and wait while we tried to think of a way out of this mess. We tried pulling them inside the train car with our voice, but it only bundled them all together. The only solution was to sit quietly and wait patiently for the undead to lose interest and an opening to show itself to us. When the moment finally came, we seized it. We threw ourselves off the roof and landed ourselves next to some unseen friends who were more surprised than us at our sudden rebound to the earth. Our legs ached from the sudden stop, but we were okay now. It seems that a large portion of the horde had cleared out, giving us a chance to take out the remaining group of stalkers. Like a chorus from the heavens, the cricket's choir played fearlessly in our triumph. We weren't cleared of threat yet, but the sounds of silence played on repeat in our minds, an echo of the progress we've made so far. It was truly a beautiful sight to behold. Inside our objective, we found our prize, spare engine parts that could be used to repair the damage done to our bike. We didn't want to overload ourselves, so we left them there for now, shining upon the dirty tiled floor like a beacon of hope, while we attempted to clear out the rest of the shop. We'd stop our pursuit of progress only for sustenance, and when our stomachs were full, we'd return to our war for the automotive shop. Our battle waged on deep into the night. The shattering of steel met the cracking of skulls, a violent symphony upon the moonlight's orchestra. The darkness pulled in around us as we fought desperately to free this place of its violent intruders. Every swing of our blade a double-edged knife, slowly draining us of our energy and sanity. We sustained ourselves by chugging down a cacophony of pills, but it wasn't enough to change our destiny. It was there, in a duel with death, we made a huge mistake. Our strength left us as we attempted to throw our enemy to the ground, and he landed a huge counterstrike to our head. A deep laceration across the side of our skull was our reward for getting careless. The inky blackness of the night seemed impenetrable as we ventured deeper into our battle for dominance. The shadows concealing the infested inhabitants all around us, our determination burning ever fiercer as we pressed onward through the onslaught. We were finally able to push back into the shop. Only a few visible beasts left. We could finally rest, we thought, as we got careless again. The sound of shattering glass echoed out into the dark abyss, and when we flashed our lights out at the horizon, dozens of eyes flashed back. We took off out the back of the shop, too exhausted to take on that big of a horde. We needed time to rest and think. We were running out of pills to keep us going. Our exasperation was slowly catching up to us, and the darkness only grew closer and thicker all around us. We did everything we could to keep pushing, but in the end our fatigue overwhelmed us. We needed to get back to the only safe spot we knew of, and we needed our supplies as well. Our first step was to grab our heavy bag of supplies without ourselves getting grabbed first. Then we'd need to find a way to carry everything up a ladder and onto the old train car welcome sign. We managed to escape back to the safety of our elevated platform, but we had one big lingering elephant in the room to address. A humongous horde of zombies followed us and were now swarming all around. Meanwhile, we were fighting to stay awake. We had only one major desire, and that was to rest, so we could finish what we started. But soon, night turned into day, and still we could not sleep. We babied soda all day long, drinking a quarter at a time to manage our thirst, but we could not sleep. Day would turn into night again. Desperation was setting in. Visions of our nightmares danced at an arm's length as we begged for relief under a new night sky. The siege of howls and groans teetered at the edge of our peripherals, taunting and toying with our sense of space and time. We finally decided to try something different. We got up and moved. 2 tiles, but it was there we found comfort. As we let gravity take our body, our minds too found solace in our new location, there atop the West Point sign. We passed out, finally able to find relief from our endless wake. What happens when we open our eyes once more, refreshed and rejuvenated, would have to wait until next time. If you enjoyed the content and want to see more, make sure to hit the subscribe button. A like, favorite, or share is also greatly appreciated. If you have a suggestion for a future challenge, please let me know about it down below or by joining the Discord. Thanks and have a wonderful one.